Welcome to the Dowdem Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we are going to talk about President Trump's recent tariffs and the positive and negative effects it's going to have on the businesses here in the United States. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, for the people who don't know, recently, just this month, President Trump went and put a 10% tariff on all countries who import into the United States, even having China's raised to 145% in order to level out the field of the amount that the U.S. buys and sells from other countries. Now, yes, this can be a good thing if it does work in the future, but it is currently causing a lot of problems with businesses here in the United States because prices are way too high and normal companies aren't able to function, having them either stop business entirely or shorten their inventory. Because you see, when it comes to that 10% tariff with these other countries, that is doable. Because with a 10% tariff, it only adds $1 to that original price. So if you have an item that is $12, that 10% tariff then makes it 13. But with China having it raised its tariffs to 145%, that means that now a $10 item becomes $24.50 because it's a $14.50 tax increase, making it very hard for businesses here in the United States. Because not only is China one of our number one manufacturers when it comes to technology, when it comes to automobiles, but also when it comes to clothing and toys. And because of this tariff, a lot of these businesses are now struggling because they can't afford these prices. Because when they would go and do wholesale, they would buy bulk. They would buy these shirts at $5 a pop. That now they're $19 because of this, tariff. So it's really affecting a lot of the businesses here in the United States. For example, there's been a lot of big online stores that I will not name that have been affected by these tariffs, and you can clearly see it. Even having some of them come out and say, you know what, hey, because of these tariffs, we now have to raise our prices. We now have to charge a higher shipping cost in order to cover those fees. Because before this, you could go on these sites and buy a designer shirt or a piece of shorts for $20. But now, because of these tariffs, it's now going to increase drastically. Also, because of these new tariffs, not only is it affecting small and big businesses, but it's also going to affect the day-to-day person. Because when it comes to things like groceries, alcohol, tobacco, clothes, electronics, those things are going to get more expensive because a lot of them are imported, and these businesses have to make a profit on top of the tax that is already just rising drastically, which is going to make these prices just go up more and more. Now, the real question is are these prices going to come down? Is this going to work? And to be honest, I don't have a genuine answer for you because at the end of the day, it is up to these other countries and if they want to work with us, if they want to make things even. But it's looking like, honestly, Trump isn't giving them an option. It's either they work with us or they're by themselves. And now, obviously, I don't 100% agree with that decision or how he's going about it. It is working. Manufacturers are coming back to the States, factories are coming back, and that is going to give Americans more job opportunities. So at the end of the day, there are some positives because if and when this does work, it really can help the American economy because we do overpay for stuff. We do get taxed crazy versus other countries. And not only will it help us as an economy, but it will help us save money because more things will start to be made here. more things are going to start being produced, clothing, automobiles, factories. So it's not only going to be opening up more jobs, but it's going to help us save more money because we don't have to pay those import and export costs. But until then, it looks like business and day-to-day people are just going to have to keep trying to make ends meet and find a way to make it work until this thing figures itself out. Until these countries can come together and figure out a decision, it's going to be hard. Things are going to be high priced. It's going to be hard to send things even to the US or get them back. Companies are going to take a major hit. So just try and prepare yourself. So if you are a business owner, try and find a manufacturer that isn't in China. If you can, try and find a way to give somewhere that doesn't have that much tax. It's going to be hard because really right now everywhere is getting tariffed. Like I think even Trump added a 20% tariff to Canada, Mexico, and somewhere else. I could be wrong, but things are going to just go up in price. So try your best to either change your manufacturer, relocate, or if you can't, then just find a way to just keep making ends meet. Like I said, it's going to be hard, and unfortunately, there's not much we can do right now, but wait until this thing figures itself out. But with that said, today's quote is by Martin Luther King Jr. He once said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcasts.